I can't believe what I just discovered. Have you ever thought about the attic in your house? The forgotten, dusty space that you rarely visit. It sits above you, day in and day out, hiding the memories of times past, or simply harboring secrets too cruel to share. Today, we delve into a tale so terrifying, you'll find yourself questioning what may be hiding in your own attic. This is the story of Emily and the shadow in the attic. Her life seemed so ordinary, a humble librarian in a quiet suburban town. She loved her books, her tea, and her cat, Whiskers. But Emily harbored a fear, one that she seldom spoke of. It was the attic in her quaint Victorian house. Built in the early 1900s, the house had seen multiple generations, and each one seemed to have its own bizarre, unexplainable incidents. It wasn't just the creaks and groans of an aging home. There were whispers, faint and fleeting. Sometimes items disappeared, only to reappear in the attic, as if whisked away by invisible hands. The few times Emily mustered the courage to climb up, she found nothing unusual. Just old trunks, broken furniture, and dusty boxes filled with what looked like junk from the past. Yet, every time she ventured up there, she felt an overwhelming sense of being watched. It's as though the air hung heavier, and shadows danced as if they had lives of their own. It was one stormy night when the story took its chilling turn. Emily had just put her tea on the stove when she heard it. A soft but deliberate thud, followed by dragging sounds. Not just any dragging sound. This was something heavy, a large object moving across the wooden attic floor right above her kitchen. Whiskers darted behind the couch, instinctively frightened. Trembling, Emily grabbed her flashlight. The rain lashed against the windows, punctuated by distant thunder. She told herself it was just the old house settling, or perhaps an animal that had found its way inside. But deep down, she knew better. Step by step, she ascended the creaky ladder leading to the attic. The thuds stopped. Silence enveloped her. Her flashlight flickered momentarily, adding to her growing unease. As she reached the top, the beam of light swept across the room. Everything was seemingly in place, until her eyes caught something lurking in the corner. It was a figure. No, a shadow. But unlike any mere absence of light, it was dense, pulsating, almost alive. It stared back at her with non-existent eyes, and yet she felt its gaze pierce through her very soul. Frozen in fear, Emily dropped the flashlight, its beam scattering to illuminate something chilling on the other side of the attic. A mirror, one she didn't recall ever being there, stood upright against the wall. It was slightly cracked, and etched into its surface were the words, "I see you too." Without a second thought, she stumbled down the ladder, slamming the trap door shut. She moved the heaviest furniture she could find, barricading the entrance. The noises above her grew louder now, scratching, tapping, and every so often that dragging sound returned. Days turned into weeks, and Emily avoided the attic altogether. She tried to convince herself it was just her mind playing tricks, perhaps caused by stress or exhaustion. That was until one morning when she found footprints, dusty, dark imprints, leading from the attic trapdoor to her bedroom. They weren't hers, and they were certainly not Whiskers. Those footprints were larger, heavier, and seemed to return up to the attic as if it had merely paid her a nocturnal visit. By then, Emily knew she couldn't stay there any longer. She contacted a local historian to learn more about the house's past. What she found was bone-chilling. Decades before her ownership, the house had belonged to a reclusive artist named Nathaniel Greaves. Known for his eccentric works and love for the macabre, Nathaniel had suffered a mental breakdown and vanished under mysterious circumstances. his last known work. A series of paintings depicting a shadowy figure, always lingering in the background, so lifelike that viewers reportedly felt it watching them. An art collector who once owned one of Nathaniel's paintings described that he felt a presence so oppressive, he had to destroy it. But Emily learned that mirror she saw in the attic once belonged to Nathaniel. It had been rumored that he trapped something within it, something otherworldly before his disappearance. Back in her home, Emily's paranoia heightened. She began hearing faint humming and saw glimpses of the shadow even in broad daylight. One night, desperate for answers, she decided to confront whatever was in the attic. Armed with sage, salt, and a hammer, she climbed up the ladder. This time, the mirror was gone. In its place was a canvas covered with a cloth. Pulling the cover aside, she found a self-portrait of Nathaniel Greaves himself. But behind his figure on the canvas, the very same shadow, a detail so vivid it felt alive. As she stared, its wispy tendrils seemed to stretch beyond the canvas, reaching toward her. In sheer desperation, she smashed the canvas and threw salt around the attic. Did it work? Well, the noises stopped, and the shadow no longer appeared. Emily moved out the very next month, abandoning her dream house forever. But here's where it gets even more unsettling. The new owners. They've started seeing footprints. So the next time you hear a noise from your attic, take a moment. Maybe it's just the wind, or perhaps it's something else waiting patiently for you to investigate.